If you two want to grow a longan or another tropical plant, these are my suggestions. Don't plant in the fall or winter. It's too cold for the plant. These plants can die from even a light frost when they're young. Always plant them in the spring. After the last chance of frost, that's my rule of thumb. You plant them in summer, you plant them in fall or winter, they just will not develop a root system fast enough to deal with any kind of stress from the cold. And you could lose your plant that way. So plant in spring. Start your hole for your plant months before you actually plant it. You might even need a pickaxe depending on how poor the soil is, but start digging it, filling it with water, letting it soak in, break down, cover it with wood chips mulch so that soil life starts getting built. I'd even start putting your amendments in, so put in your worm castings, put in your azomite, your mycorrhiza even. So for a couple months, just keep watering that hole until the drainage is perfect. Meaning, if you pour 3 gallons of water into that hole, like you would the first time that you water your plant, it's all going to drain within the first minute. Then you know you've got good soil drainage. So, also when you pick where to plant, I really like the wall, or right off the wall. It provides a good windbreak for the plant, and it's easy to build, structures around it when you need to. So I don't have the luxury of picking a spot that has morning sun, afternoon shade. Most of my yard is full sun all day. So I have to imitate shade. Now tropicals are going to struggle when they're young in 100-degree temps. So as soon as that happens, this is what I do. I put up a shade structure. This is 40%, and with our weather here, this means these plants are covered with this usually from April through the first part of September, and we start getting back into the 90s. So planting off the wall is pretty good, I have found. They're not going to get huge like they are in their native climates. You don't have to worry about a mango tree getting 50 feet tall. That doesn't generally happen. And plus, employing pruning strategies, you can control the height of your tree as well. You can keep it compact and the fruit within an easy picking distance. So putting it next to a wall isn't really going to be a problem in that case. So once you got your site selected and you've got good drainage, and you have your plant now, which is probably a 3-gallon, that's the most common, you're going to want to put it in the ground. And you're going to want to do that in spring, after the last chance of frost. So you're going to want to plant with native, half native soil. I used half cactus mix for good drainage. If you get a good brand that has some lava sand, even better, because tropicals like it slightly acidic, and our soil is very alkaline. Our soil is about 7.5 to 8, and the tropicals like it around 6.5 to 7. So we need to lower the pH. And you lower the pH by using things that are acidifying, like lava sand. And the cactus mix I buy, Nature's Way, at I think Walmart, carries it most often, will do that for you. Or you can buy lava sand from a nursery and add it into your cactus mix of your choice. I also add in some azomite, mycorrhiza, and worm castings. And that's how I amend the soil at planting. Next thing you'll want to do is use that other half native soil that you didn't use in the planting to berm the tree. as I've done here. All my trees are bermed, and that helps keep the water in the basin. You can't see this. There's a significant drop off from where I'm standing to where this basin is, and that's because of all this mulch that I put in. So that's your next step. Once you berm it, mulch it heavily. Wood chips, leaves, whatever you have. You're going to want to feed your tropicals during the growing season consistently every 4 to 6 weeks. A compost is best, but you can also get an organic fruit fertilizer, and that will be a good thing. And that'll keep it from stalling out. It'll help support growth, help support fruit. Shading. So I kind of mentioned it. If you don't have that afternoon shade situation, you're going to want to create it. So once we're in the hundreds, protect your tropicals. Put up shade cloth until your tree has the canopy to protect itself. Now I'm doing that with this black sapote as well. This thing has put on so much growth this year. This is around the same age as the longan. It's exceeding my height now. And there's a white sapote here too. It's been in the ground for a bit longer. It also gets shaded at this time. Now this tree is at the point now that I think it can shade itself, so I'm probably not going to put up shade cloth anymore after this year. I also have these fig trees speckled in here to help provide a shade canopy as well. So that's another approach. If you have a more sensitive tree, get a larger tree that serves as kind of that upper canopy for it to protect it, kind of like a nurse tree. That's another approach. So mulberry works for that, figs work for that. Any of your tier 1 type trees that can take full on sun would do well.